In a world where the truth isn't always what it seems, four masters of real estate step forward to help put the E first in the word true. TREU. Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. And now, here's the Fantastic Four of Real Estate with their host, Tom Platania.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Thursday morning edition of Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, or TREU Radio. TREU Radio, if you don't know, is actually a German word for loyal. And what better way than to have the realtor who we talked about last week is actually the largest investment most people will ever make.
Right.
You know, I mean, you're spending, God, a lot of money on these houses. I watched this, my girlfriend sent me, she's taking a philosophy class in college, and she sent me over this YouTube video. It was actually pretty interesting on this guy kind of doing like a drawing that was actually sped up, so it was while he was talking, but it just on how that over in the, like France and Europe and stuff like that, that the housing market is like less than 30% of people over there own homes.
That's correct.
And over 64% of people in the United States own homes. Mm-hmm. And just the mentality and just...
That's why it was called the American Dream.
So absolutely. But hey, we're here, ladies and gentlemen, TREURadio.com. You can actually go there. We're going to have a special guest on the air all day, or all show long with us. We're going to have Mary Beth Zipster with Atlantic Insurance Advisors, who's going to be helping us to understand, are we prepared in our insurance for the hurricane season? And good morning, Mary Beth. Are you there?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, everybody.
Ma'am.
Now, if any time during the show, ladies and gentlemen, you'd like to call in to ask Mary Beth or our realtors here, our agents, we have Farouk Ali, Carol Morgan, and Mr. Scott McAllister, who's back from, were you, Hawaii or...
No, I just flew in from Chicago. And
Chicago.
gosh, my arms are tired.
Oh.
Where's the rim shot? Come on. I'm here
Well,
all day.
you know, they hired Mike. I mean, come on. You get what you pay for in radio today. No, I'm teasing. Mike is awesome. He's so awesome that you don't even know he's there. And
Sometimes.
that's true.
Sometimes.
That is good.
That is my skill.
That is your skill. We don't even know you're there.
He's like Batman.
No. Batman. All right. Well, 772-220-9788 is the number to call here if you'd like to talk to Mary Beth from Atlantic Insurance Advisors. We're going to be talking about anything new in the insurance industry today. Realtors going to be asking all kinds of questions. Basically, a lot of the questions are from the people that have been buying, selling, investing in homes currently. You know, we got hurricane season coming up, and we haven't had anything.
Knock on wood.
Knock. We haven't had anything in a long time.
It's okay.
So
That's okay.
What is it, like every 7 years or something like that we get nailed?
Well,
Don't
no.
jinx us, Mick.
It had been like 30 or 35 years before the Stewart area had ever been hit.
Wow.
And then we got hit 2 in a row.
And you'd think with us just sticking out there like a sore thumb in Florida that we would just be getting nailed left and right, but
Well,
we are
depends
lucky.
on the jet stream. Yeah.
Yeah, we are lucky. So we're going to be talking to Mary Beth all show long about that. And don't forget, TREURadio.com. You can actually watch us live in the studio. You can chat in the chat room if you have questions. Maybe you're a little shy, don't want to call in. Also, you can go to TREURadio.com. Now, that's TREU radio.com. And you can click on any of the realtors' bios. You can go directly to their websites, call their direct phone numbers, or... Scott, I know you're back off vacation, but you know there's a special number that you can contact any of the realtors. And what was that number, Scott?
Well, if you would actually like to speak to one of us in person, you can call 772-444-2590.
I love it. Good man. Well, let us turn our attention to Mary Beth. Now, Mary Beth, you've been in the insurance industry for how long?
About 10 years now.
10 years. And what did you do before that?
I worked at a law firm, actually, before that.
You're not running for the new school board office position, are you?
No, I'm not.
I couldn't believe. I actually had to ask the people in the studio. Did they say what I just thought he said?
I have to tell you, when Carol, I think it was Carol that said knock wood.
Yeah.
When we hear hurricane season, if you can imagine in this business, hurricane season, we're a little white knuckled here in this industry. We kind of hold our breath through it, and it has been quiet, and we want it to stay that way.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. I can imagine the claims and the money. Now, are the individual agents affected at all, or is it just the insurance companies? And did I say that right?
No, you said it right. For me in particular, our agency, because we do so many new purchases, someone can be set for a closing and everything's ready to go and it's going to close on Friday. Well, if there's an official named hurricane, if the National Hurricane Center names a hurricane on Monday, and I come in on Tuesday, I'm completely shut down. I cannot produce that binder that's needed for the closing on Friday. So sometimes it literally comes to a screeching halt here. If any storm, a named storm, is anywhere even near, they call it the box, that can really shut us down and closings can get put off.
But can't we bind those before those storms become named? If we see that there's something out there?
Yes, and it's almost a trickle-down effect. I'll go to log in, and then all of a sudden an alert will pop up that says, sorry, binding suspended, and then the next one suspends, the next
Right.
one. So,
Wow.
yeah, literally if you get in under the wire, yes.
That's what I thought.
Now, when you said named hurricane, do you mean any named storm, or does it have to be named hurricane? Could it be a tropical storm still?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it depends on the company. Some hold out to the very last minute and wait till it's officially named a storm, a named hurricane. Some, as soon as they hear anything about a tropical storm anywhere near the state, they shut down. They're very conservative. I like the ones that shut down in areas. If it's going towards the Panhandle, why are you shutting down in West Palm Beach? Some will just close down specific zip codes, which is nice.
Oh, okay. Now you say in the box or out of the box. What's in the box?
It's huge. I have an actual drawing that I hand to people, and I send it out to them, and it's an attachment in an email, and it's bigger than you realize. It kind of stretches out towards Texas.
Wow.
I know, it's big. Most carriers do not extend it that far out. They will usually wait till it's more hitting one of the coastals. But if it's heading our way, like I said before, it depends on the company. Some company, the second they even see it's anywhere near, they're done. And they wait a day or two after it's dissipated before they open up. And some wait till the final hour, or they'll just shut down specific areas until they see where it's going.
Mary Beth, this is Farouk. How are you?
Hi, Farouk. How are you?
Good, thanks. What is normally the window of not binding a policy if there's a named storm?
Well, that's a tough question. It depends. If the storm is blowing in and they name it an official hurricane, some companies immediately, once it's out in the news, they're done. I come in, shut down. Even though they're not closing for a week or two out, I'm shut down, and all I can do is watch. Some will put up a warning, just want you to know we are keeping our eye on it as a responsible company. We are aware of Hurricane Sally or Tropical Storm Sally. The second it's upgraded, they're going to shut down that particular area or the whole state. It's really hard to say. When there's something during hurricane season stirring out there, I kind of reach out to my loan officers and say, hey, if you've got anything closing the next couple of days, you may not need it. If it's a Monday and they don't need the binder till Thursday, can we push that up a little? I will try to get as many as I can under the wire, because you don't know. I've had them just pull the rug out from underneath me and shut down completely and say, sorry, not till the storm moves.
What happened in the situation where there's no flood insurance, but there's a named storm and they can still write it? Let's say it's 4 or 5 days out and the policyholder is not carrying flood. Could you still write that flood before?
Yes and no. Isn't that a great answer?
Are you a politician?
Yes. No. Volunteer programs, in other words, you're choosing to carry flood insurance, has a mandatory 30-day wait.
Oh.
Mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
So if you called me today and said, hey, hurricane season's here, I think I'd like to get some flood insurance, that's great, but it won't go into effect until July 19th, because today is June 19th. They caught on real quick to people running and rushing and throwing flood insurance on their homes. So if you're thinking about doing it before hurricane season, do it about a month before hurricane season starts.
So that's your window of opportunity right there.
You have to wait a minimum a month.
Yeah, all right.
Unless it's for
Awesome.
a closing, and then they'll do it immediately, effective closing date.
Okay.
And Carol, you were saying something about just for flood insurance in somebody's house recently?
Yeah, I just had a client who had to get flood insurance over in Palm City, and it was $1,035 a year.
Wow.
1 foot below sea level.
Oh.
Oh my gosh! Now, does it depend on where you're at, on what the flood insurance will cost?
Yes.
It
yes.
will. Okay.
Well, it's where you're at, and the biggest thing I try to stress to everybody I talk to, when you're considered in a flood zone, we have to get an elevation certificate.
Okay.
And an elevation certificate has 2 critical numbers, as Carol just said. If your area or your property is assigned a number, let's say it's assigned 8 feet, and the house sits at 7 feet, that's going to be an expensive policy.
Yeah.
But it's the opposite. If the base floods 8 feet and the house sits at 10 feet, it's going to be a $200 or $300 policy.
Okay.
It depends on where the home sits in relation to that flood.
So the lower down, the lower the number, the more expensive it's going to be.
You don't want to be negative. I've had ones that were just negative 2 inches, unfortunately, and it's expensive.
Wow.
Mary Beth, how do you advise a policyholder that is not carrying flood insurance? However, they're not in a flood zone. But because, we get a lot of rain and stuff, there's still that window that they could be flooded. Do you recommend, even though they're not in a flood zone, to carry flood insurance?
Yes, and what I tell people is I kind of find it funny that they say, oh, I'm not in a flood zone, or I am in a flood zone. In my personal opinion, the entire state of Florida, most of it's marshland. We kind of, like Tom had said earlier, we kind of stick out. In my mind, we're all a torrential downpour away from being flooded. There was an area in Port St. Lucie about 6-7 years ago that was considered preferred or non-flood, and they showed the neighbors paddling their boats down the street. And it was a newer development, too. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. But I advise people, every single policyholder here, 30 days prior to their homeowner's insurance renewal, gets a letter just reminding them, flood is not on your policy. It's not covered by homeowner's insurance. You might want to consider it. And with the 30-day wait, don't wait. Just get it as soon as you can.
Yeah, and you are right, Mary Beth, because I lived up in Kashmir area in Port St. Lucie, and I don't know if that's the area you're talking about, and a place called the Enclave, and that was not in a flood zone, but because of the water runoff and the little drainage ponds.
When we had Faye, that happened over there. Yeah,
horrible. I mean, they're not a flood zone at all, but there was 3 to 4 foot of water because of the drainage, and that right there, based on what you said before, that would classify as a flood, even though it was kind of man-made.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Rising waters.
Yeah, you want to explain the difference between, people get very confused when I'm talking to clients out there, the difference on flood in your homeowner's policy and a flood policy. Will you explain the difference out there between the two?
That's a great question, and it's hard to think of it this way. And I always tell people when I say flood is not covered in your homeowner's insurance, they say, well, what if my hot water heater breaks, or what if a toilet were to crack or come off the floor? Those are considered water claims. Water, a pipe that were to break, or a hot water heater, that's considered a water claim, and that is covered on your homeowner's insurance. A flood has to be true rising waters, and it has to affect 2 or more properties or 2 or more acres. It's impossible, for example, my house to be flooded, quote unquote, with a real true flood, and my neighbor not. If I'm up to my ankles in my living room with water, most likely the neighbors on both sides of me and more are probably also, like that area Tom was referring to on Kashmir.
Yeah.
The whole street, everyone had the same level because it was rising water of an area that was just inundated and couldn't absorb it.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We got all kinds of other questions coming up here.
Well, Mary Beth, I was just reading an article from the National Institute for Insurance, and it was saying that female named storms cause more damage than male named storms. So is there something in the policy if it's a female named storm, it covers less? And I mean, I thought that was a very interesting article.
The female storms are just much more gentler and kinder than the male storms. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think the original thing is they named them after women because they were unpredictable. They were always changing. You're listening
but
to Treasure.
Stronger.
I feel like I'm surrounded by 3 guys here.
I'm with you, Carol. I'm with you.
You're listening to TREU Radio, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. We'll be right back.
rates. That's what you get with Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Remember, everyone's just one torrential downpour away from a flood. And with rates as low as $129 per year, why would you not get coverage? Call 772-233-4444 or email flood@atlanticinsurance.us and save hundreds on all your insurance needs. That's 772-233-4444, 233-4444 for Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Dramatic change invites invigorating new energy. Let Decorating Den Interiors create a dramatic change in your home's decor. They'll create a look that's important to you. Begin your home's gorgeous transformation by calling Decorating Den Interiors on the Treasure Coast at 692-8589. Visit their waterfront design studios on Southeast Osceola Street, downtown Stuart, and online at stewartdecorator.com. Are you selling your home? Wondering how you're ever going to move all your belongings? Well, don't wonder. Call the trusted moving professionals from Mr. Small Move. Their staff of full-time movers are ready to take the stress out of your next move. Mr. Small Move will safely pack, move, then place and assemble your belongings at your new location. So if you're moving, call the trusted professionals at Mr. Small Move. For a free estimate, call 283-5540. That's 772-283-5540 for Mr. Small Move. Every 13 seconds, a home intrusion is committed in the United States, with property loss totals in the billions. Take action today to prevent it from happening to you with ADT, protecting homes and businesses for more than 136 years. Protect Security is your authorized ADT dealer on the Treasure Coast. Call Richard Stratman today at 772-708-2691. Protect Security and ADT, offering peace of mind security 24/7. Call today, Protect Security, 708-2691. Has a recent foreclosure, bankruptcy, or short sale spoiled your credit? Fidelity Funding may be able to help. Their hometown lenders are specially trained to work with your credit history to find the perfect loan program and get you back on track. Even if credit is no problem, Fidelity Funding offers many dynamic loan programs. Call Fidelity Funding on the Treasure Coast at 772-237-5211. They work day in and out with realtors in your community to find you the house you love. Call 237-5211 for Fidelity Funding. When you buy a home without a house master inspection, things can break down without warning. When things break down without warning, you get angry. When you get angry, you may commit acts of random violence. When you commit acts of random violence, you could do hard time. Don't do hard time. Call Housemaster for your home inspection needs. 772-336-2111 or visit them on the web stlucy.housemaster.com.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jensen Beach, Hope Sound, Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, or TREU Radio. Don't forget to go to TREURadio.com, where you can actually watch us live. You can go into the chat room. You can ask any questions. You know, we have Mary Beth Zipser with Atlantic Insurance Advisors with us today. She is absolutely a brain, a wealth of insurance knowledge. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody who's been dissatisfied with her service, and she's very responsive, especially when I email her. Mary Beth, you're awesome.
I live on my internet and my email.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with all the technology between iPads and computers and phones, and you're wonderful with that, and I really appreciate the quick response on questions and answers and different things like that. So if you're giving me that kind of service, that I could just only imagine the kind of service that you're giving to your clients.
We try.
Well, you do a great job. Great job. All those commercials on TV with 97.8% customer satisfaction, you got 100% in my book, Mary Beth.
Thank you. You know, I got to tell you, too, I work with so many loan officers and I work with so many realtors, and I honestly have to tell you, I think that Carol, Farouk, Scott, and Andrew have got to be probably the busiest. They're the hardest working I've ever seen. They're always running somewhere, going somewhere. They've always got something going on. They exhaust me just watching them.
We get exhausted.
We exhaust ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, they are. They are absolutely awesome. I mean, I hear great things from their clients. I see the things that they do, and I see a lot. I do a lot of research and see what's going on around with a lot of other realtors, and it's night and day compared to what I see with these guys and the knowledge that. I mean, one of the big reasons I wanted to do this show with them is one, because I love doing radio, hear myself flap my gums, but also what better way as a new agent coming into the real estate business than to have four of the brightest minds, well, three and Scott. No, four of the brightest.
Watch out, my mom will get you.
She's calling right now.
Yeah.
Four of the brightest minds in real estate to learn from. It's amazing. So, but if you'd like to call the studio and talk to Mary Beth, also give us a call, 772-220-9788. So we were talking about the frustration with female names in hurricane. I mean, I'm sorry, we were talking about hurricanes.
Yeah, and while we were at break, the National Hurricane Center just announced Hurricane Scott.
Oh, really?
God, what an annoyance that Hurricane Scott is. He's always blowing around.
That's actually what my mom always used to say when she would come into my bedroom. Like, what, did Hurricane Scott run through here?
I love it.
So what items, we're coming into her. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. We're going to do Hot Around Town. So you have to give us just a second here, Mary Beth. We have Hot Around Town for the agents so we can let the listeners out there know what is hot in Martin County, St. Lucie, Indian River County. So, Farouk, since you were working your buns off, shaking your moneymaker last week, we're going to start with you.
There's so much going on.
What's hot around town?
Well, a couple of things. I've extended my office. I've just went into another location. So now I'm in Stewart and also in Port St. Lucie and PGA Village. And I got to tell you, it's sometimes you don't know where the business is going to come from, and you venture into things that I just don't have the time, and I need more agents to work on my team right now. I just listed, I have a 2.6 million, it's a condo in Aventura. I'm getting ready now to put together a team of interior decorators and stuff, and try to market that. It's vacant. It's on the 27th floor. It's one unit that takes over the whole floor.
Wow.
It's a 4-bedroom, 4.5 bath.
Wow.
Then I have coming up in Palm Beach, right in the water on Ocean Avenue. I'm taking a listing by the end of this week. It's right on the beach, and that's going to be listed at $395. Beautiful.
Right on the beach.
Right on the beach.
A
Right on the
condo or a
beach.
house?
Condo.
Oh.
It's a condo right on the beach. It's on Ocean Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Flagler in West Palm Beach, I have on the Intercoastal a 2-bedroom, 2-bath that is listed now. It's a rental. It's going to be rented for $1,900, and it overlooks directly the Intercoastal.
Beautiful.
Beautiful view on the 9th floor, and it's a penthouse unit,
Furnished or unfurnished?
unfurnished.
Unfurnished.
Very
But it's
nice.
gorgeous, yeah,
Very, very
gorgeous.
nice.
So it's been a hurricane season for me in terms of listing right now.
Well, you're ready. Yeah.
And,
Well, Mary Beth, you need to get with Farouk
it's
here, because
great. It's
Hurricane
awesome.
Scott comes any closer, we're going to
Yeah,
have to start writing some policies.
Yeah, but I'm very excited about it. 2.6.
Beautiful.
That I fell through the floor when I was told after doing a presentation on another unit, and this is properties owned by foreign nationals. So I'm happy to know, the niche that I'm creating and dealing with international buyers and sellers. It's
Good.
paying off for me after
Awesome.
all these years. So
Beautiful.
it's awesome to keep
Awesome.
plugging away.
Awesome. Good job.
Well,
Yeah,
Carol,
thank
what's
you.
hot around town for you?
Well, it's been a kind of a hectic week. One good thing in my personal life is my grandson just graduated from boot camp in South Carolina.
Nice.
Congratulations.
And
What
unfortunately,
branch?
I wasn't able. I think he's in the reserves.
Okay.
I say that because I'm not really sure, because he's
Okay.
keeping telling me that he's now going into airborne, and I'm like, oh, okay. So where are we going to land? So I don't think he really knows that yet, but
Right.
yeah, so that was great. So my son and my granddaughter and I went up and watched him graduate. I couldn't make it, unfortunately. So that was a great thing in my life,
Nice.
and just as long as he stays here in this country.
Yeah,
But
sure.
Yeah.
I'm having an open house on Sunday. So
Okay.
if anybody out there is listening who is looking for a home on 2 acres, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, pool on a lake, in an equestrian community.
Okay. Just one night.
It will be open. The address is 11206 Meadowlark It's in Foxwood, off of Pratt Whitney.
Okay.
So come out and see us. We'll be there from 1 to 4.
That'd be a beautiful,
What's the
beautiful
price,
visit.
And it's listed at $449.9.
Oh, that's
Wow,
a good price.
that's nice
Uh-huh.
with that acreage. How
And
about
then
you, Miss-
also I will be having,
Oh, I'm sorry.
if any agents are out there listening, this same home will be having a agent broker open on the 26th from 4 to 7. And I am having it catered, so come on out and see us.
Wow,
Oh, beautiful.
filet mignon and lobster tail
Yeah,
from
I don't
Carol.
think that I don't think that extreme, but it'll be some nice hors d'oeuvres.
Awesome. Well, so, no,
I,
Scott,
I hope you sell the property before.
And a glass of wine.
Yeah, there you go.
that
Well, I know
might
you're
be
just
We'll
good.
coming
definitely
back.
be out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Miss Scott? I know you're just coming back from Colorado, but anything hot around town for you?
No, Chicago. not
Chicago,
that.
Colorado.
A little different.
Yeah, I just, I thought you might have went out there for the new changes in
No.
foreign policy out there.
Yeah, I just actually the team was super busy while I was gone. They, Jane and Chrysula just been going insane with the leads while I wasn't there to help them out. And unfortunately, one of our other buyer's agents is in the hospital. She's having neck surgery, so she's had to kind of back off a little bit. But we've been
All the best to her.
Thank you. But we've been, really trying to build our team. I went to Chicago for fun, but part of it was also to try to recruit my best friend up there, who's been a sales manager and all that stuff. I want to bring someone down to kind of be an expansion director for us, and so it was kind of buttering him up. I took him to a couple of baseball games and fed him some beers, and it's like, hey. How'd you like to come work for me? But it was really
Awesome.
nice. I had a great time, and we are looking right now. We're in the process of building the systems to expand our team, and within the next few months, we're going to start looking at people in different markets
Beautiful.
around the area to add people to our team to bring in, bring our brand or a little further out.
Awesome. Well, Mary Beth, I'm going to put you on the spot. Hey, you're part of the show today. So, what's hot around town for you?
Hurricane season.
There you go.
See, I'd
What's
say it
hot
over
around
there.
town is, I'll
Nice
tell you
segue.
what's hot around town. In all seriousness,
Yeah.
I can see a wave of difference. I can see this market turning. As you know, I do a lot of new purchases. I put insurance in place for closings. I'm getting bind request after bind request. I can see the pickup in closings, which is all good news for everybody.
New homes or existing?
Both.
Both. Yeah, because I see definitely a lot of the new construction. I do construction design, and I am just been the past month. I have been inundated. 4 to 5 a day.
Wow.
That
That's
I'm
great.
getting. and they're not small homes. I'm talking 3 to 10,000 square foot homes.
Do they need a real estate agent?
All new construction, but I don't know if they do, but most of them have a name of a homeowner already on them. So, but yeah, so obviously they're going to be wanting to write some policies too. But you're right, the market is just growing.
I see it picking up, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good sign to see that the new construction is starting back up again. The new home starts are good. I'm closing on one on Friday, or actually tomorrow, over in
development?
Highland Reserve.
Oh, nice.
Nice
Very
house, beautiful, beautiful home. And so it's good to see that people are wanting new again.
Yeah.
Even though the prices are still staggering between the new construction and the existing.
Yeah.
The price levels have not come back to equal each other. But there are people out there who want nothing but new. I'm kind of one of those people.
Yeah.
And,
Oh yeah, looking at your house.
I was gonna say,
Oh my
if
God.
Yeah, but
anyone's seen that house,
I gutted that.
Her house is a museum. Not a museum.
Not a museum,
Not
I
a
hope
museum,
not.
but it's like an art gallery.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah,
gorgeous.
No, I gutted that house.
It's like look, but don't
I have,
touch.
I have built 12 homes.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I like new houses.
Beautiful. Well,
Did you get a chance to make it out to that Riverbend?
No, I
It was
did
really
not.
nice.
I wanted to get out
It
there,
was
and I am
really
going to make an
nice.
appointment to go out and take a look at that.
so Mary Beth, now coming up into hurricane season, what are some of the things that homeowners? Because I know when I was a homeowner, I never checked my insurance policy unless the insurance company sent me a letter saying, "Oh, by the way, if you don't have a wind mitigation inspection, we're going to raise your insurance 20%." And then I looked at my policy. But what are some of the questions that homeowners should be looking at or asking their insurance agent right now with hurricane season coming around?
Well, you're going to laugh, but I think the first and foremost with hurricane season around the corner, know where your policy is. You don't want to wait till there's water dripping out of the ceiling and your windows are blowing in before you run and try to locate your policy. Have the inventory, know where your policy is, have a list of what you have in the house. I always tell people that if you want to take some pictures, email them to me. I'll save them in your file here.
Oh,
If
there you go.
If you want to keep your stuff, I can keep it all here, take pictures of your things. But know where your policy is before hurricane season. Know that if you need to make a claim, where the number is. Look at what kind of hurricane deductible you're carrying. Just know what you have. Don't wait till you hear a Category 5, knock wood, is bearing down before you start looking for your paperwork.
That's a good thing that you just brought up, because I fell into that. I had put a pool in about 2.5 years ago, I guess. So last year I added, when the pool was completed, I added in coverage for my pool and my enclosure. And when I called and set that up in place and all of the pictures, filled out the paperwork, I assumed that it was taken care of. Well, I got my binder this year for my policy, and I'm looking at it. My pool wasn't covered.
Ooh.
Was the screen cage covered?
No, nothing.
Yeah.
The insurance company, for some reason, dropped the ball on it, and it wasn't covered. So be sure that you review your policies and make sure that everything that you want covered is covered. And then for me, that was just a good example of had I not looked to find out, okay, why isn't that on there? And made the call, I would not be covered should we get a hurricane season.
Yeah, that's what I hear from a lot of people, that they have no clue what's on their policy. And like what Mary Beth's saying, they have no idea where their policy is. Now, my policy, I would just push 1 on my speed dial for Mary Beth, and that's where my policy would be. But
the reason I know that nobody knows where they are is someone will call me asking me to shop their insurance for them. I say, well, can you get me a copy of it? And they go, let me see if I can find that. I'm thinking they don't know where their policy is, and it's mostly that declarations page, that front page that lays out everything. It's a snapshot of everything you have.
That's where I picked up mine, that it didn't have the pool on it.
What would be another question that would be important?
I just think they need to look at their deductibles and know what the deductibles are, because in Florida, property insurance has 2 deductibles, separate. Some people still don't know that we have hurricane and one that's for all other covered perils. And that the hurricane deductible is a calendar year deductible. They have to understand that it goes from the January 1st to December 31st. And sometimes hurricane comes through, it's only a Category 1, there's only minor damage. They say, it's not going to meet my deductible. Why should I worry about it? When you least notify your carrier, always call your agent first, but if you and get their advice, I always tell people check first. But when you notate it, keep your receipts, it's going towards your deductible. It's a calendar year deductible. So if a second named hurricane comes in and causes another $2,000 worth of damage, well, now you've got $2,000 from the first storm, $2,000 from the second storm. You've just met your deductible. So even though you didn't get paid out on the first, if you paid out of pocket, keep track of everything. Take pictures, let your carrier know, I got $2,000 worth of damage. Here it is documented. I paid for it out of pocket. It'll go towards your calendar year deductible, hurricane deductible.
Oh, okay. So even if they didn't file a claim with you and they fixed it the first time, if they have damage the second time, they can then file a claim and put that money they spent the first. Oh, even if they don't report it.
Yeah,
I didn't know
you
that.
have to keep track of it. There, of course, there's always going to be that one carrier that's going to handle it a little bit differently. That's why I always stress to call your agent. I write with 30-something different companies. But at the end of the day, because it's a calendar deductible, and it's a one-time calendar deductible from January, so it doesn't matter if your policy starts in July. In that January 1st through December 31st, each named storm, you have one calendar deductible. Hurricane deductible. I have to keep saying hurricane.
Yeah.
So keep track of it. If you're out of pocket, you're not necessarily not putting in a claim to get paid, but you're documenting that you spent this money. Here's the receipts. Here's the repairs I did, and so on.
Wow, that is interesting.
Mary Beth, in the absence of an appraisal for replacement costs, in arriving at a premium, would that cause the homeowner premium to be higher? Because with Home Path, there's no appraisal.
It's something that people do not realize when they ask me to quote a home, whether it be for a new purchase or just to shop it. For example, if a home is currently insured for $150,000 and you come to me and say, here's my policy, can you shop this? I just don't plug in $150,000. I have to do a very detailed replacement cost estimator. They ask a ton of property details, how many corners, geometry of the roof material, how many bathrooms, and I hit a button that says calculate. The carriers now tell me the minimum they will allow the house to be insured for. And of course, the more it's insured for, the more it's going to cost, depending on the area and year built. But sometimes people will come to me and say, "Well, my policy is $150. How come you gave me a quote where the house is covered for $162?" I'll say, I can't really. There's a little wiggle room. I just really can't waver off the number that the carrier gives me. After I calculate, I have to enter a number of porches, the size, the square footage of the porches, the quality of the kitchen, it's flooring. It's very detailed. It takes a while to put all. That's why when someone just gives me an address and say, "Give me a quote," I have to do a lot of research. I go to all the typical sites and to the property appraiser to get more detail.
Yeah. But this is in the absence of a policy, because it's a vacant property and it's a new homeowner. No appraisal because it's home path.
I still have to do a replacement cost estimator on every single one. Without an appraisal, I just go to the property sites. I don't want to name them all, but the Trulia, the Zillow and stuff, and pull out property. Actually, sometimes the realtor's listings are the best. When I don't have an appraisal in my hand, I go to the listings, and you guys are so detailed, and how many bathrooms, the pictures are worth it.
And also the inspection report would help as well, wouldn't it not?
Yes. When there's a 4-point inspection for the anywhere from 30 to 40-year-old homes and older, some of the carriers require a 4-point inspection up front before they even allow me to bind. Some allow it as a trailing document, so it depends. It's so case-by-case basis. When I'm done, if the property fits best with Company A, and Company A happens to be one of the ones that's the best price, but they happen to be one of the ones that insists on having it in their hand, they review it first. They're underwriting it up front before they even allow me to produce a binder. Some do it the other way. They can say, "Go ahead and bind this," but we expect to see a 4-point within 5 days. And wind mitigation is a whole other inspection.
Yes, of course. I know we're talking about hurricane and all that, but what about sinkholes?
Wow, what a loaded question.
Wow.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and answer that on the other side of the break. We're going to take a break because
Thanks,
Mary, give you time to think about that one. Because we want to hear Mary Beth's wonderful promotion we have on the air for her. So you're listening to TREU Radio, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, and we'll be right back. 772-220-9788.
Customer service and great rates. That's what you get with Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Remember, everyone's just one torrential downpour away from a flood. And with rates as low as $129 per year, why would you not get coverage? Call 772-233-4444 or email flood@atlanticinsurance.us and save hundreds on all your insurance needs. That's 772-233-4444, 233-4444 for Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Are you selling your home, wondering how you're ever going to move all your belongings? Well, don't wonder. Call the trusted moving professionals from Mr. Small Move. Their staff of full-time movers are ready to take the stress out of your next move. Mr. Small Move will safely pack, move, then place and assemble your belongings at your new location. So if you're moving, call the trusted professionals at Mr. Small Move. For a free estimate, call 283-5540. That's 772-283-5540 for Mr. Small Move. Every 13 seconds, a home intrusion is committed in the United States, with property loss totals in the billions. Take action today to prevent it from happening to you with ADT, protecting homes and businesses for more than 136 years. Protect Security is your authorized ADT dealer on the Treasure Coast. Call Richard Stratman today at 772-708-2691. Protect Security and ADT, offering peace of mind security 24/7. Call today, Protect Security, 708-2691. Dramatic change invites invigorating new energy. Let Decorating Den Interiors create a dramatic change in your home's decor. They'll create a look that's important to you. Begin your home's gorgeous transformation by calling Decorating Den Interiors on the Treasure Coast at 692-8589. Visit their waterfront design studios on Southeast Osceola Street, downtown Stuart, and online at StewartDecorator.com. Has a recent foreclosure, bankruptcy, or short sale spoiled your credit? Fidelity Funding may be able to help. Their hometown lenders are specially trained to work with your credit history to find the perfect loan program and get you back on track. Even if credit is no problem, Fidelity Funding offers many dynamic loan programs. Call Fidelity Funding on the Treasure Coast at 772-237-5211. They work day in and out with realtors in your community to find you the house you love. Call 237-5211 for Fidelity Funding. When you buy a home without a house master inspection, things can break down without warning. When things break down without warning, you get angry. When you get angry, you may commit acts of random violence. When you commit acts of random violence, you could do hard time. Don't do hard time. Call Housemaster for your home inspection needs. 772-336-2111 or visit them on the web, stlucy.housemaster.com. You're listening to WSTU Stewart.
All right, welcome back to TREU Radio, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. We're here with Farouk Ali, Scott McAllister, and Carol Morgan. Mr. Andrew Sesta, I don't know, I think he's resting up for the wedding.
I think so.
He's going to need it for the big party they're going to have
When is he
afterwards.
getting married?
I think it's this week.
I think the
Is
funeral
that
is
this
when?
weekend?
I believe it's this weekend. Don't quote me on that. It's either this weekend or next weekend.
No, I know he's happy. I know the missus is happy, so we give him congratulations on that. But so we have with us today, we have Mary Beth Zipser with Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Mary Beth, if somebody listening to the show wants to contact you directly to find out what you can do to help them out, what would be that number?
772-233-4444. Or they can go right to the website, atlanticinsurance.us, like United States.
Very nice. So that, again, that number is 772-233-4444.
You got it.
There you go. That's an easy number. If
It
I
is
can remember
very
it that
easy.
quick, anybody can. Nah, that's
Do
great.
do you write out in Miami, in like West Kendall?
I write the entire state of Florida, and I also do North Carolina.
Okay.
Oh,
awesome.
wow. Very
Well,
nice.
that's good to know.
And obviously you have to have a separate license for North Carolina? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very
And
nice.
it's a whole different ballgame up there.
I can only imagine. Now, do you have to slow down when you do your policies up there? Or no?
Yes, I do.
I'm
There
just
you go.
teasing if anybody's from North Carolina.
You can
Wonderful
expect
accent.
you can expect an email from my assistant Daisy today
Daisy, great.
for 2 quotes. Okay.
Great.
One in Port St. Lucie and one in West Kendall.
Very
Perfect.
nice.
Thank you.
Very, very nice.
What
So-
is great about the website, there's a spot on it where you hit request a quote and fill out the information, and it instantly loads on my desk in front of me in a rater, so it's real effective.
Oh, wow. And I know she's responsive, so I can just imagine how quick that she would be all over that. Wonderful. So that's AtlanticInsuranceAdvisors.us?
No, it's just AtlanticInsurance.us.
.us, okay.
Mary Beth, when you're taking Tom to lunch, it looks like I don't know what's going on here, but he's really plugging for lunch or something.
How many more times do I need to compliment you to get like Black Marlin or Ruth Chris or something?
All right. Whatever you want.
There you go.
Let's talk about sinkhole. That won't get
Oh
you.
yeah, for sure.
That was our topic before. So what about sinkholes?
Okay, that's another strange area that people don't understand. The insurance companies define 2 separate entities. They have something they call catastrophic ground collapse, and they have coverage called sinkhole, and that's 2 separate animals.
Wow.
I know.
Didn't know that.
I'm sorry, sir. Your house is not in a sinkhole. It's in a catastrophic ground collapse. So.
They'll say they cover catastrophic ground collapse, or they do not, but they do not cover sinkhole. And some companies say they all cover catastrophic. In other words, if the house is completely totaled and swallowed up in a hole, you're covered. Some of them say we offer sinkhole, and they define it as a small area, a section of your driveway collapses. The wall on the right side just shifts, but the entire house has not been swallowed up. It's just a partial
Right.
damage caused. That's sinkhole. But you have to understand, even the ones that offer the sinkhole, you have to buy it. It's additional premium. And most of them have a 10% sinkhole. So if you do the math, if your house is covered for $200,000, you've got a $20,000 deductible.
Oh my
for,
gosh.
I know. So when it's a 10% sinkhole and you pay additional to have it. But in theory, if the house is quote-unquote totaled or swallowed up by a hole, that's catastrophic ground collapse, then you are covered. But it's tricky because they're popping up everywhere. They're scary.
What do they call it when that guy's bed was just like his bedroom got sucked underground?
catastrophic.
I mean, yeah, I'm like, do they have insurance that'll guarantee they'll just come and get me and not leave me down there? Because that seems to me like the absolute worst way to go.
Oh,
just swallowed up by the earth.
You could see it. You could still see the house. So is that considered catastrophic? To me, that's considered
I would say that's catastrophic.
Yeah, my son's at the bottom of this hole. That's pretty catastrophic.
Yeah. I guess they have to deem the house as totaled.
Wow.
You know, to look at the extent and say, if it's total, this is catastrophic ground collapse. Some people say, well, I'm not in a sinkhole area. I don't know. There's some areas that didn't have one for a long time, and all of a sudden a large hole swallows
How
up.
do you determine whether you're in a sinkhole
Well,
area?
That's what I was going to ask. Is there an
Stomp on the
inspection?
ground.
Is there an inspection for that?
I've been checking this out because we've had some instances in the neighborhood that I live in, and
Really?
well, what it is the caverns of water that flow underneath the ground that create your sinkholes. Am I not right, Marion? Or
Yeah.
Mary? Yeah. Mary Beth. And that's when the water flows and the ground breaks down, your sinkholes are created.
Right.
Because it goes through the limestone, I believe.
Yeah, and to me, I would think the whole state of Florida, but there are caverns of water flows all over the place, and a lot of these are in flood zone areas, believe it or not. And so can you explain that a little bit more?
Well, when you said the water flowing underneath creates these caverns where it breaks loose,
Right.
That's my argument, or what I wanted to discuss. To what size? If it's huge cavern that opens up and then swallows up 3/4 of your house, I don't think that's a sinkhole anymore. Well, I think they're all sinkholes, but I guess it has to be to a certain size before they're going to call it catastrophic ground collapse.
Right.
To me, a sinkhole, the ground is collapsing. Period.
Yeah.
Whether even if just half your house is on it, you can still see who you're going to have to total the house. So I guess that's becoming more and more of a hot topic with all these insurance carriers. And I have not personally, knock wood, had a direct instance where I had to watch the process of a claim being filed through an actual sinkhole. Knock wood again. I don't want to have one in a
So is there separate for catastrophic and separate for sinkhole, and then
they all
separate
cover
for
right? They all cover catastrophic ground collapse.
standard
cover-
household policy covers
Yeah.
that.
Yep, and some of them offer sinkhole. Some say, hey, we'll give you catastrophic ground collapse. We do not offer sinkhole, period. They do not. And some offer it as a buyback, but very few automatically just cover sinkhole. You have to add. That's another
Especially in
thing. When you
Florida.
said, pull your policy, take a look.
Unreal.
And it is on the front, big letters, sinkhole
Yeah.
deductible, 10%.
And is that on top of
The premium?
on top of the standard deduction or no?
Standard. It's
So-
a separate deductible. It has
Deductible is
its own-
different.
Okay,
Correct.
so that
Sinkhole.
would cover your deductible for your standard insurance as well, the 20,000.
Just for sinkhole.
Right. So you have a sinkhole, then anything, the entire house has the 20,000 deductible because it was a sinkhole that
Correct.
caused. Okay. All right. I was thinking, okay, well, if you got a $5,000 deductible, now we're adding another 20 grand on top of that. But I'm like, okay, that's a lot of money.
Well,
That's a
imagine
replacement.
imagine if your house
That's
got
a hefty deductible to carry, 10%.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if your house got hit by a hurricane and a sinkhole at the same time. It's like, I'm sorry, you have to
double
pay
money.
that double deductible there.
double
Yeah, they'd be like, well,
It was both a sinkhole.
yeah, you didn't have sinkhole and hurricane
Yeah.
coverage, so
Yeah.
Mary Beth, going back to the flood insurance, one quick question before
We got
we
2
end up here.
minutes
We got
left.
2 minutes. Explain the difference, and I didn't really know this until I experienced the hurricane of Jeannie and Francis when they came through. We had as an example, we had groundwater because we were over close to the ocean. We were over off the pocket, and so we had groundwater that raised. But then the insurance policy was arguing, or the insurance company was arguing with us, that the water coming into the building was from a driving force and not from groundwater. Although the groundwater was up, we had to determine which one, in fact, actually occurred. I don't know how you do that. We had to hire an attorney to go after the insurance
we have to
companies
be quick
get
with
it
the
done.
answer on that because
So-
we're coming to the end of the show.
Just explain
that's
difference.
That's one of those gray zones. Is it driving water or a true flood? And in the definition of flood, it must be rising waters, but it has to affect 2 or more acres or 2 or more properties.
All right.
So-
Well, Mary
Yeah.
Beth, I want to appreciate you being on the show. Remember, 772-233 4444 to get in contact with Mary Beth Zipser from Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Mary Beth, again, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Farouk, Carol, Scott, and
Thank
let's
you, guys.
end
Thanks,
our
Mary
show
Beth.
with our Zig Ziglar quote of the day. Yesterday ended last night. Today is a brand new day, and it's yours. Thanks for listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, True Radio. I'm Tom Platania. We'll see you here next Thursday.